you. So then you ask yourself, why? What is actually happening, people? Why is it that parents would have their loved ones kidnapped and the government will, basically uh, form deaf and dumb and nothing absolutely happens until parents on their own forms a union to collect money together and begin to look into what they can do themselves. It hurts. It hurts because you and I, it could be any of our children that is in this mess. I know many people who are in America, many people in England who said, okay, when their sons or when their daughters get to year 6, when they take the final exams and, to get into secondary school, a very good time to bring them to Nigeria to stay in boarding school, at least to learn one or two things regarding where they came from. But no one, with the current madness happening, no one in his or her right senses would actually do that, would actually want to bring anybody home, because it's not going to happen. And you keep wondering, why are we in this? The mess is getting. For the benefit of those that just joined me now, let me play this video again and I'll move on. Again, the people, the Greenfield University students that were kidnapped have been released, but their parents are accusing the government that they paid 180 million for their children to be released. And this is happening in a nation that somebody can say that is a nation. That is absolutely insane. It is absolutely insane. And here is the pain of a mother. Here is a woman who is crying. You don't know how eventually they gathered this money together to pay. And here is the pain of a parent. Tell me, how would the parents or the child himself ever be faithful or be loyal to this entity called Nigeria? Tell me how. You saw when an American was kidnapped in Nigeria, the Americans flew their Air Force, flew their fighter jet from America. They flew hours, 15 hours, just to grab one or two people. That is how you value life. Though, on the other side, you could actually argue, if they value life so much, why do they shoot our brothers and sisters nilly-willy on their streets? But that is, again, it is an internal thing. But on international scene, that they want to make a statement that an American life matters, that they can go as far as flying into Nigeria, breaking all protocols. When people tell you that Nigeria was aware, they allowed it to come in, blah, 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 those are just face-saving, crappy nonsense that the government can tell you. They came in, they did what they ought to do, and they flew out. Again, here you have a bunch of irredentists who specialized in taking children from their schools, take them away in view of getting money. Again, depends of these parents. It breaks my heart.
80 million. That is what we paid. Sir. That is what they collected. Sir, how much? 180 million.
Say it again, please, sir.
180 million. That is what they collected from.
Say it again, please, sir.
180 million.
180 million was what the parents of these children paid in order to have their children released. How can you ever be faithful to such a nation that will treat you with so much disdain? How can you?
That is what they collected from us, from parents, without the help of the government. None of the government officials that have come to our aid since the 20th of April. They took the.
Please, I don't know what this woman was saying. I've played it a couple of times. I don't know whether she was saying, I don't know if you understand Hausa very well, because I think whatever she was saying, my own Hausa understanding doesn't get to that point. Whether she was speaking in a different dialect, I don't know. Is it with that machine, whether that's a different language or the sold machine. I struggle to understand what she was trying to say. Let me play that again. If you can, what the man was saying. Oh, with 10 motorcycles. Okay, let me play that again. With 10 machine. Okay, hold on. Let's see.
Sir, how much? 180 million.
Say it again.
That is what they collected. Sir, how much? 180 million.
Say it again, please, sir. Like
180 million. That is what they collected from us, from parents, without the help of a government, none of the government officials.
So, are you guys saying that she's saying with 10 machines? She said with 10 machines. Is that? So that means that these bandits came with 10 motorcycles to bring them back or to kidnap them. I don't know.
With 10 machines. Since the 20th of April, they took these children. No single one policeman that the government have released to go after them.
You know, again, you look at these things, you can only say, honestly, it's so painful, people. It's so painful to you know, watch something like this. My brother, Udoma says this video needs to go viral. Listen, Nigeria, nothing shocks people again. If you go viral, you know, go viral. No one will lose their job. No one will be held responsible. So these things continue. Okay, so no one will be held responsible. And whether it goes viral or not, to me, in my estimation, it means absolutely nothing. It means absolutely nothing. And it breaks, you know, it breaks one's heart. Honestly. It means absolutely nothing. So 180 million with 10 motorbikes. Oh, I think it's making sense. So they gave them 180 million plus 10 motorbikes. That's what the woman is actually saying. Not that they came with 10 motorbikes. No, they gave them brand new motorbikes. These motorbikes, you know them, these are, I think, 250 cc's, and it's about between 150 to 250,000. Oh, Jesus. Jesus Christ. You collected this with 10 motorcycle. That is what the woman is hammering on. 10 with 10 machine. So she was saying we did not only pay this amount, but we also gave them 10 motorbikes. 10 motorbikes. Lord Jesus. Anyway, now, the video I shared with us yesterday where Mrs. Tinubu was calling somebody a thug. The woman that she called a thug yesterday has come out to speak. And this is the side, you know, what the woman said.
And said people should come.
Let us pay attention and hear this woman.
That was a public hearing. So we had gone to the public hearing. We had our papers prepared to go and present our papers. So a colleague and I had two other colleagues with me from Better Nigeria. Better Nigeria is a non-partisan organization for Association of Nigerians who want to see the glory of Nigeria come back. So we had prepared our document. We were on the queue waiting to go in. People had been going in. They had their own period. They had cards. They had invites with them that had been given to them ahead of the program. But we didn't mind. We were staying on the queue waiting, only for us to get to the door. And they now said, oh, we're full. We have 250 seats, and that's the capacity. And at that stage, I was like, how can you have 250 seats? This is a program that's supposed to cover Oyo, Ogun, and Lagos State. Lagos State alone has a population of over 10 million people. You have asked us to come and hear our voice, to come to consultation. So how can you now tell us now that it's full? And besides, you were supposed to have it at the TBS. Last minute, you changed it to the Marriott. Who does a public hearing at the Marriott? You know, and I was talking to someone and engaging the person, and they were like, oh, I only work for them, or I don't know anything about it. So I said, well, okay, if that is the case, get a duty manager, get a screen out here. There are loads of people, not just myself, out here that can't get in. Let us be part of the process. We don't even mind if we're not seated. We will stand and watch. And that was what happened. Then, Madam Senator, my senator, Mrs. Remi Tinubu came out from the hall. I don't know what they had said to her. She came out and she said, where is that woman? Where's that woman that is talking? Where's that woman? Where's that woman? And I walked from where I was to where she was. And I said, good morning, ma. I have been on the queue for a while trying to get in, and we can't get in. Now they're saying that they're closed, and we really don't understand why we cannot get in, because you have invited us. If you knew that you had a certain number, you should have done an online registration and we'll have registered ahead. Then if we go online and find out that registration is closed, they're full to capacity, then we would understand this. But we would have come all the way to Ikeja, and then you now say that you only have seats for 250 people. Oh, and she said, before I could even say it, she just went, stop it, stop it, stop it, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. Police.
You see, look at what the woman is narrating. That is a typical mentality of an average Nigerian politician. You speak truth. You just want to assert your right. They're already calling you names. They're already telling, saying all manner of things. What the woman was saying was very simple. If you knew the venue was only going to contain 250 people, why did you not do pre-registration? Why would you allow people to go burn their candles without NEPA and make a presentation to present to you, and on getting there and you tell them, no, the venue has been filled up and you can go? And why would you do it you see, that's the thing. They went to a high-end hotel to even do the event. Not even in the original venue that they wanted to do it, that had bigger capacity.
Let's come and get this thug out of here. And at that point I said, ma'am, I am not a thug. A thug is a violent person. A thug is a criminal. I am not a thug, and I refuse to be addressed as a thug. I am a Lagosian. I live in Lagos. You are in my constituency. I have a right to ask you or to lay a complaint on the process that I think is wrong. That is what my right is as a citizen of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and that was it. So, that's what happened, and then, like the video speaks for itself. But I really don't want us to really dwell on all the video alone. The thing I really want us to look at is that, do they really want us to be part of that review? Yes. It wasn't a fair review. In my opinion, I don't think they actually wanted us to be involved. And that is the issue for today for me, is if you do not want us to be involved, then do not act as if.
Now, you see, when I said yesterday that I do not believe in this current charade that is ongoing, called the constitutional review, the woman is reaffirming it here, that one of the reasons why they are just acting up like thugs is because they do not also believe in that same process. They are not even taking it serious. So the woman is reaffirming it here. Again, you can see anything personally for me, anything short of taking down the Constitution in its entirety, offering people a referendum to say, this is how we want to be governed. Then people can, on their own, various regions, come up with how they want to be governed. If some people say they want to be cutting limbs, for Christ's sake, let them cut their own limbs. But I can bet you're not going to see me. I remember once I had an offer to come and work, lead a project in Saudi Arabia. I said, listen, even if you give me £1 million, I wasn't coming. I mean, that's my decision. I don't care how much you offer. I'm not going to come in there, because that's, you practice what that, doesn't stick with me. Therefore, you can go ahead and do whatever you want to do. But for me, that's not with me.
Because from now on, we are no longer going to sit back. We're going to be part of whatever process you say you are part of. Because it took me weeks to get people to come on with me. Everybody said, oh, it's a scam, it's not going to work. I said, you cannot sit at home and be saying something is a scam. Let us go there first, so they won't say they called and nobody came. When you go there and then there's a problem, there's an issue, then you can now say, okay, I have been there, I was there, this is what and what and what happened.
So this is why I would like to come in, because you obviously approached this exercise in good faith. You said you went even with your documents. I'd like to know what the documents contained. But then,
I think before I go ahead, I think somebody here asked a very important question. Mazi, tell me, if that was a party rally, would she tell the people that the venue is full? Excellent question, Nokwanda Odera, Emma. it's an excellent, your brain is still intact. You can imagine. Have you ever seen them when they tie this wrapper on the top, they tie APC, on the down, they tie PDP, when they go about in all this, their nonsense? Have you ever seen them when they say people stay out, don't come in because the venue for the convention or venue for the party something is filled up? No, they don't. But when it comes to when they don't even believe in their own process, but they're just basically bringing people together, and they come out and tell people, oh, no, go ahead, go out, 250 people. Suddenly they will remember a COVID protocol. But the question is, what stopped you from going to the Tinubu Square that program was actually planned ab initio? Even when the woman, that you can clearly see her brain is still intact, says, okay, can you bring out a screen for us outside? We don't mind standing outside watching the proceedings because there is no way we can go home, which is a very easy thing to do, or even put a projector. Honestly, sometimes I don't know, maybe someone, all this money already voted for these things to happen. Maybe someone has already vamoosed the money. Because if not, it's common sense. You cannot call a people to come out and tell them it's only 250 people. How did you plan it ab initio?
But then this incident happened, and you have now described the process as elitist, disenfranchised, manipulated hearing, which is disappointing, I'm sure, for you. Now, there have been criticisms of the entire process, which you just alluded to. A lot of people think it's an exercise in futility. I want to know now how you feel. How you plan to still participate, if at all you do. And if you don't wish to participate, what is the next step for you to really bring to light those contents that you had in those documents?
Okay, thank you very much. I will participate again because we have to be part of the process no matter what. We cannot let whatever it is happens shut us out of it, because when things are now passed, we go on and say, oh, we don't know when it happened, we went there, we went whatever, how did they come up with this? Whatever it is that they're doing, I would encourage all of us to stop sitting at the back burner and come and be part of it. So yes, as far as I was concerned, because first of all, we took a document. The document said, this is what we want. For us, it is clear. We want a new constitution and a new beginning. But we're still open to the fact that, okay, you want to do a review. How do you want to go about it? There are certain things we want we want a constitution that involves everyone. We want a constitution that represents everyone, regardless of who they are, that represents everyone equally. So we took a document saying we want accountability, we want a responsive government, we want a responsible government, we want a government that we can talk to, we want accountability, we want transparency. One of the things that made me realize that I don't even think the thing is real, because when you go to a place and you're asked to submit a document,
listen. You see, at this point, I'm beginning to like this. He said, in her own words, she said, one of the things that make me to begin to doubt that this thing is even real, not me. Now, I've been saying you can't run away. You can't run away from this thing. Some even when some senators and some House of Rep people are thinking, which they've said, some of them on this platform that I've brought them, I've interviewed them, and they're saying, no, we are going to work on doctrine of necessity. I'm like, why on earth would you ever want to do something like that rather than rather than stick to facts, rather than where you can do a comprehensive anyway. I don't the bottom line is there is no way you can allow the same people who are helping themselves with the cookies and tell them to stop helping themselves, because these guys would never stop. So, you couldn't actually do virtually nothing. We must find a way to bring them to a point where the whole constitution should be jettisoned.
And saying we want accountability, we want a responsive government, we want a responsible government, we want a government that we can talk to, we want accountability.
Which government are you going to talk to? The one that has a president or the one that has an oracle? The one that you need to kill goat for the oracle and spill blood for the oracle to even come on camera without speaking to you. And sometimes when the oracle is about jetting out of the country, the oracle would, The oracle will just basically speak through the chief priest. And when the chief priests come out to speak on behalf of the oracle, they only talk nonsense. They only talk nonsense like people who have drank fermented kunu. No one of them is making sense. Is that the oracle you're talking about, madam?
We want transparency. One of the things that made me realize that I don't even think the thing is real.
So now you're just realizing that the thing is not real. Okay, continue.
Because when you go to a place and you're asked to submit a document, the thing you would expect is that they would check the document if you have...
Why would they check the document? The document does not contain words of dollars. Don't you see them when they wear the agbada, they convert their agbada to bullion van and stocking dollar, smiling like Christmas goat that was killed by accident. Come on, let's wake up.
You have submitted the required, if you have followed procedures or whatever. We took the document there. The lady that took the document just threw a slip at me and said, fill out the slip with your name, and took the document and just put it away.
Exactly, because they're not interested. Go to the universities, all the dissertations that we wrote, none of them. You cannot come back 5 years later and find the dissertation that you submitted in your department. You think everywhere is not rotten. People see their certificate at 3 point where they use it to wrap paper. So you're talking, listen, I bet you that if you go to Abalende this weekend, you will see that document you submitted there being used to wrap suya. That is, you think you've made any effort.
And put it on the floor with all the other documents.
Exactly.
I was saying, madam, we have our software copy. Madam, we have our, I was still trying to engage her in the process. But she wasn't interested.
How can she be interested? Because it tells you a people that want these things to work would have a dedicated portal where Ma says, okay, if I want, this is what I want. I want regional government where the Southwest will be a region of its own, like a country of its own. This is what I want. I can seek people within the Southeast that want the same. The Yoruba nation that want the same, that Oduduwa nation could be a country of its own within a common entity. They can go to this portal and submit it, not come and bring people together and be doing abracadabra. How?
I just thought to myself, so that was the beginning of it. I just thought, look, when we got there, I finally was able to go in after the governor left. When we started, and Fix Nigeria did a fantastic presentation. A lot of other people came, but it was really like a government kind of thing. Because,
Madam, please, do not amuse me. It was really like a government kind of thing. I mean, were they not government? Do you know how many billions, not millions, B as in B, the way they box, B as in billions that was earmarked for that event? Sadly, save this video. Nothing will come out of that jump.
Legislators were coming in, people were party, people were coming in. At one stage, I had to tell them, is this a political rally?
Madam, you make me laugh. You just are waking up. You're asking them if this is a political rally. Of course, that's what it is. Oh, maybe you are not aware that some people may be giving money to go buy petrol as well, or you don't know. Did they not? Maybe Kola Nut money was not given. Come on, let's stop wasting time. I had once given us an analogy. If the day you want to fix Nigeria, the things you can do. Nigeria is a place where other nations probably have moved forward, but Nigeria is still a virgin that the day you want to fix it, you can. You can use technology. Forgot all these things. Everybody talks like mad people everywhere. You can use technology to fix your election. Any nation that does not want an independent candidate is not ready to make change. As I am now, okay, listen, all I want, if at all I will ever get in government, is to use my local government. I'm a local person. To turn it into whatever is in my brain. Not just, I don't bloody care who is in Abuja. For what? That's where the movement should start. You go to my local government, there is no single toilet where a woman can sit down and wee. And everybody's clapping. You see men, well, on the road, bringing out the organadika after peeing. And he say, Mazi, come and shake me. I said, Thunder bag here, come and shake you. After ringing bell, and spreading jams everywhere. But sometimes you blame them. Where would they have gone and do, and you know, someone who wants to do a business? You know, sometimes, honestly, it beats me. I come into a market and I'm beginning to wonder, how does our mamas everywhere, when they are pressed, where do they go? Or do they have to hold it till they get to it? Because I have not gone to any market. Oh, man, we are.
Because I didn't get the memo. The memo says it's a public hearing and we're coming to look at the review and we can present what it is that we have. So our document, first and foremost, said we want a new constitution and we want a...
That is the only place I agree with you. So if you wanted a new constitution, what were the content of the amendments that you because you're getting me confused. The reason, I know many people that have called up on me to submit something, with my organization. I say, I'm not. The only thing I'm interested in when we are serious, say, this is a position based on the ethnic nationalities, what they will submit, then I would work with my fellow Ndibo to come up with something, knowing that whatever we come up with must be subjected to referendum. Again, we can beat around this bush. You can keep amending it 20 times until you have a clear starting point. We don't know it all. But if we have a clear starting point in 2020 that says, this is it, we're going to start here. We have drawn a line, and this is going to be the new constitution. Every 10 years, this constitution must be reviewed and be re-subjected to referendum for people to accept. Yes. Again, we must know that the representatives are not elected to make constitution. They are elected to amend and to work on laws, but not constitution. Constitution is the duty and is a product of the people. That is a clear distinction that we must make.
New beginning. We do not think that constitution, the 1999 constitution, can even be amended to suit our purpose because the foundation is faulty. If a foundation is faulty, you do not rebuild that foundation.
Isaac is asking if everybody's lamenting, what is the solution? I just said it here. I hope you're listening. The solution is that we draw a line and we say we would have a new constitution that will be subjected to referendum. What is referendum? Ask the people. What is asking the people? Ask you, Isaac. Isaac. Ask you, say, we are Ndibo. We have Ndibo in the southeast. We have Ndibo in the south. We have Ndibo as in some part of northwest. Collectively ask Ndibo, how do you want to be part of this union? If yes, how do you want to relate to other people within this union? I mean, it's not too much to ask. And the people would vote and say, this is what we... And again, there must be a clause also to note that these, whatever outcome the people decide, must be respected. The same way was done in England. The Scottish people, did the same thing. And they said, we have to go to a referendum. Do we want to be part of this union? They went in there. Sadly, those that wanted Scotland to go out of United Kingdom, they lost. Even United Kingdom as a country did the same thing with the European Union. When David Cameron was not able to extract most of the things he needed to extract, some of them anchored on the Eastern Europeans that were coming in, claiming benefits that upsetted the people of United Kingdom. When part of the thing, which Nigel Farage was saying at that point is that if the margin is so close that they will call for a rerun. Sadly, again, but that's what politicians do. When it now became in their favor, no one was all now talking about whether we should run a second referendum on Brexit. It became law. And here today, United Kingdom is out of the EU. Whether it is favoring them, it is not favoring them. Personally, I didn't want United Kingdom to come out of EU. That's my personal choice, right? But It is a decision that they have made. Who cares? Then he must guide them. Let them stay. Tomorrow, maybe after 10, 15, 20, 30 years, they might want, okay, we want to rejoin the union. Can we have another referendum? Then the people would now decide. That is the only thing I'm thinking. The people would now decide. Listen, Godwin and Madife, it's not about if they would ever give you room for referendum. Listen, the way things are happening in Nigeria, it's not about if. It's something that will come. It is an idea. Its time has come. You can no longer delay it. You can no longer run away from it. Remember, as we are today, if you go back to the APC 2017 restructuring recommendation, the 12th point in there is on referendum. So it's in there. So if APC today want to come out from their deceit, want to come out, want to really come out and say, okay, let us now do that thing which we promised Nigerians. If they implement the El-Rufai-led Committee on Restructuring today, automatically you have referendum in the, as part of the documents that governs you. So, let us not surprise us that it is going to be something that is going to be an abstract. No, it's not an abstract. It's something that it will happen because everyone is now awake. To the point, though, that UPP eventually merged with APC. But even UPP, if you look at their manifesto had self-determination in there. Self-determination, as the Professor Akintoye always has argued when I have asked him on this platform multiple times, self-determination does not equal breakup. But it is your right, inalienable right, to decide your future by yourself and develop at your own pace without being controlled by any other person rather than yourself.
Start from the beginning, and that's our position.
I mean, great, and thank you so much there, for your insight as regards that. And should I say sorry about your ordeal, but I mean, you just have to keep pushing. It's our country in the end. I want you to tell me specifically areas you want, to be fixed or to be put in this new constitution we're going to have. Would you still favor a restructured system? Would you still favor the alternative of a 63 kind of constitution, where you had regions, where those regions, had full autonomy over their resource?
Yes.
What would you say about state police, for instance? Would you favor a system where we have state police? The moment you have 63, now you take care of what would be the gap? What would be like 4 or 5 cardinal points in this new constitution you want us to have in tandem with the realities of today?
Okay, thank you very much. For us, we believe that the most important thing for us is that power should start from the bottom, not the top. So we want autonomy. We believe in that the local government.
Exactly, autonomy for the regions.
Giving more power so that, for instance, I shouldn't have gone to the Marriott. I should have gone to my chairman in my local government. I shouldn't be traveling all that way. He will have heard our grievances. He will have consulted with us. He will have gone through the process with him. So we want a situation where we have power from the bottom, so which is probably the local government, the state police, and we want to be able to use our resources, yes, because we have so much resources. Nigeria is blessed. But if you are talking about power from the very top, before we can use those things, when do they have time to do all those things? So those are one of the things that we want. We do want a state, want the state police, we want power at the bottom, and we want to be able to have access to our own resources in our state to be able to work with it.
Anyway, and this is the only thing that I can guarantee you all that you have outlined here is when people come together to take that decision for themselves and now eventually subject that to public scrutiny. After the public have scrutinized it, they will now go back and have a referendum on that same issue. Yeah, they would do that. So, I mean, that's, I don't know what you guys think. Again, I think we need to move away from these, just break Nigeria now. That will cause an anarchy. Equally, it's not going to be possible. But all in life is about negotiation. But I tell you that from the decibel of noise happening in Nigeria today, what is almost not, almost that it is certain that it will happen is that Nigerians in the nearest future will have referendum, that they will have the right to decide their future. Again, we have to be real. I'm not an utopist. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I am a realist. I look at the things that are possible, the things that are, not where, you say, oh, tomorrow you wake up, you have Republic of Biafra or you have Republic of Oduduwa. No, it's not going to happen. By the way, what the Yorubas, if you go ask for Professor Akitoye, I've asked him here twice on different occasions, what does he mean? He will tell you he does not want to pull the Yorubas out of Nigeria, that they want self-determination. You think he's an idiot. You think he doesn't know what he's saying. Sometimes off this camera, I know the conversations as well that happen with all of them, or everyone agitating. I speak to them in private. What they think. But sometimes, some of them, one thing I will tell us for free this evening is that some of them, most of these people, in the forefront of the agitation, some of them, what they will not tell you, I will tell you now, is 90% of them, when you pin them down in private, they will tell you that, yes, they are happy with Confederation. They will give, they don't want anything to do with the North. The North can stay on their own, just like the Welsh doesn't have anything much to do with England. As a Welsh person can decide to stay here. When they were locking down, they can lock down. London, England can lock down on their own. If Scotland wants to, let them do their thing. They are doing their thing. If you're driving and you leave Bristol, you come into Welsh, you see it. The first time I was driving into Welsh, and I was like, what a freaking thing is that? I was going to Cardiff. That's the first time I was shocked because the signs are not in English. It will bold in Welsh, then tiny, in English. Yet it's the same one. It's the same country. So, we want to be in a position where I get into Agbo. When I leave Benin, get into Agbo, I will say, "Welcome to the Igbo nation." Do you understand? Or when you leave, when you leave the second Niger bridge, you say, "Welcome to the great Igbo nation," GIN. So these are things. That's what it means. And when to conclude here, when some of these great agitators you people only see on social media, on TV, in private, again they will tell you because they understand. But the challenge they have is that some of them are also scared of their followers, that they don't want to say some certain things that their followers will think that they've sold out. They can say these things in private. I know what I'm talking about, but I leave it at that. But the bottom line is, even that, which they are everyone, the Southeast, Southwest, Middle Belt, everyone agrees that this is the only way to go. Alternative is Southern Nigeria, push everyone out. Then you can now come into Southern Nigeria. When the first plan fails, you come into Southern Nigeria, you decide, what do we want here? We can, decide to remap. The Great Igbo Nation could actually make an argument, to have every single, those that are in the fringes, those Igbos in the fringes, in the rivers, in Delta, in Kogi, in Benue, now to join the Akitan Kings and become whatever they decide. Again, I leave that to them. Whatever they decide, because it is about the people. The people must make that decision. That is what it is. The people must make that decision. Any other thing, we're still reverting back to what happened in 1999, when without consultation, even in one of the videos, I think by Dr. Nyanwodo, in one of the videos where he actually said, you remember he was the Minister of Information when that took place. He said that he never saw the Constitution, that even the president then being sworn in, Olusegun Obasanjo, was sworn in with no Constitution. That it was after he was sworn in. I mean, I'm quoting him, that after he was sworn in, that this Constitution now appeared, meaning that whoever was in charge, the people in charge knew what they were doing. They knew that whatever they were doing was illegal and it was fraudulent, and they yanked it on all of us, and here we are. That is what anyway, let me not get into the other finer details. So now the last point here that I want to make before I conclude this evening is regarding what is happening in the Southeast. It says, so who will give you referendum? It's not a matter of who will give you referendum. Everyone is demanding the minimum requirement is referendum. Think, in 2017, the ruling party had their restructuring committee, which they promised Nigeria, come up with what they think they should do, which includes the devolution of power, taking some of the items from the exclusive list into the concurrent list. You know, that's given. And part of the recommendation that they did was that, you know, some of these things should be subjected to referendum. And that's the same thing. So if you think that 4 years ago that a party under Oyegun was able to come up with that, it's a matter of time. Quote me. I might not see it with this current oracle, because the oracle we have now does not speak to you, does not want to know, you know, the oracle. I might not see it with the current oracle, but quote me. Any other thing that happens, either it happens before APCs, I mean, the politicians, when some of them, by the virtue of what Akredolu wrote the other day, has confirmed that they are not stupid. They actually understand the things you and I talk. Who would ever believe that the Southern governors would ever come together as a people? Because it is no longer about them. They are feeling the heat, the decibel of noise. And they see it as well when the Southwest talks about the killings in their land by strange, you know, headsmen. It's no longer about talking. It's real. It's real. So the governors, they see it. The governors, they hear it. The governors, they know that these things happen. Therefore, they also, so, you know, you asking whether it's possible. It is easier and possible for you to extract two things. I'll be blunt here. It is easier for you to extract referendum. It is easier for you, if push comes to shove, to extract Southern Nigeria as opposed to you extracting Biafra. It's a common sense. One is that Biafra has a lot of, you know, apart from the emotional side of the argument, it has a lot of baggages that draws it back. A discussion for another day. But a Southern Nigeria makes it easier for a collective force. In one of the conversations I had, a private conversation I had with Melafia Obidaya, that was it on Wednesday this week? Man, a lot is happening within the Middle Belt. And when you understand the things that is happening and where the Middle Belt stands today, you should be happy. Happy in the sense that suddenly everyone is seeing where the issue lies. It's no longer, you know, before it's always easy for people to say, oh yeah, in the 1967, because honestly, again, mistakes has been made, then they really dealt with us. people running away from the core north, trying to come into the southeast to take shelter. Some of them in Castina Ala, in Alede, in Ubora, for some of them massacred, really pregnant women, sad things done to them. But now they are the bridge, they are what I call, they are now standing in the gap. If they are broken, if that's why you see constant, those that deal with crypto will say, they say keep testing to trying to see if they can break the barrier. If they are broken, then there is no protection. Therefore, strategically, we must give them our support. Collectively, it's a collective fight. This is not a time to, go into our various cocoons and begin to think that it's either this or nothing. No, you don't want to repeat the 1967 mistake. Even when you had control of something, at least then you had an eastern region that had control over its own police affairs. But today you have absolute nothing. And you will be very, very stupid to make that same mistake again. And we will not make that same mistake again, because it is a collective danger that is facing all of us. It's a collective danger. And that brings me to the next basically topic, which is the issue in the Southeast. The Southeast is under siege by security forces. I did see some videos today. I was told that the CID Umahi was set ablaze today by unknown gunmen. I saw another video where the unknown gunmen naked, on the streets, and people were cheering them up. Now, people, some of you may dislike it, but again, one thing about posterity is that truth be said. We are all now jubilating that the Southern governors have come together. Remember, in 2018 June, on this platform, I called that the only solution to the madness happening in Nigeria is the unification of the Southern Nigerians. That's 3 years ago. Today, I am so happy that it's happening. But I remember when I said that 2-3 years ago on this platform. You can go back to that video and you watch it, unification of Southern Nigeria. Some of you who called me sellout, sabo, blah, blah. I was just laughing because I can see that maybe you're not far thinking enough to understand where I'm coming from, because it's more about strategy than emotion. Now, if you're so much engrossed and you're so much engaged in emotion, the worst thing you can do is you can insult. And sadly, sometimes, or if not most times, when you do the insult, the YouTube, mostly on YouTube, because YouTube, there are some words, because of the community guidelines, they don't allow you. So when you do them most times, they block you. So not me. I don't necessarily do that, because I trust that when such words are used, they will. But come back on strategy. When I watched that video, and even this morning, that in the Onitsha axis, that is the Niger bridge, that at some point soldiers blocked the Niger bridge, and I learned that 5 soldiers lost their lives. And I want to appeal, please. The Igbo nation is not the only nation that is going through this crisis. Let us take a leaf from the Yoruba nation. The Yoruba nation is going through a lot. The daughter of the former Fanifere leader, Professor Anti, was killed. A lot, the bushes, what made Akrodoru to say, because Oyo State, for instance, is almost, Oyo State is about 28,000 square kilometers in size. The whole of Southeast is only about 29,000. So, small thing. You have only one state as the size of the whole Southeast. Yet, what is happening? The Yoruba nations are not burning their infrastructures. Again, I repeat here, you can, if you want, you can insult me, it's fine. But I must keep speaking truth to all of us. Whoever is behind the destruction of the minor and the little infrastructure we have, please, I am on my knees. We must stop. It is fueling insecurity. Yes, I agree that we are all angered. We are all aggrieved. Remember, there was a time when, it is, I don't know how to say this. I am honestly angered that when it comes to Southeast, they see you and I as rebels. They see you and I as a people that must die. They see you and I as a people that doesn't agree in whatever the center is saying. Of course, that's who we are, and I have no apologies because we are a people that speak our mind, and we are a people that abhor injustice. Why did Ojukwu clash out with Gowon? Because Ojukwu then was insisting on seniority. The person he was actually insisting to take over, that would take over when Ironsi died, was not Igbo. He was a Yoruba man. But because of that universal sense of justice, he insisted that the right thing be done. Again, have you forgotten? Even when I condemned the 1966 coup, but if you go and listen to Major Kaduna Chukwu Manzogu, he said that the reason why that coup was done was to bring Awolowo out of prison because Awolowo was falsely accused and imprisoned. And they saw injustice being done to him, and they wanted to get him out and make him president to drive the nation. That is Igbo's sense of justice. Ebebelu, Ugobelu, let the kite perch and let the eagle perch. Live and let live. I am not interested that Nigeria today has 6 geographical zones. And someone says, if you have things to share within the security apparatchik of this nation that is 6 in numbers, you take 1 each. You have qualified people in the Northeast, Northwest, North whatever, North Central, Southeast, Southwest, South. You have qualified people. So do I. How come a people that produce one of the best first class brains, comes to secondary school? What's it called? Unity school entrance exam. That someone from Anambra has to score 135. Someone from Imo has to score 137. Someone from Abia has to score 137. And someone from Yobe has to score only 2. It means you are Idofe, I don't know what the word to use. But suddenly, the person that scores 2 in a couple of years will now see and become to lord it over you. Am I happy with that? Of course, no, I'm not happy. The same thing applies that even within the Southwest, that you can see that someone from the Southwest will be denied something. Ask yourself, why is it that no one from the Southwest mans the wharf or the maritime, the wharf in Lagos? It has to be someone from somewhere else. Why? You think the Yorubas are happy? You think the Yorubas are happy that these things where they are qualified, something that is in their own domot, in their own backyard, and they do not have access to it? You think I'm happy that my brothers, my sister, somebody that could be my son is praying in Aba in 2016 February, and that individual military will come, kneel down and shoot them. You think I'm happy? You think? When we say that Igbo leaders, I am. Listen, we are all leaders in our own right. For you, over 200, 300 people sitting down here in various platforms watching me this night means that there is something. If not, you could just log off and go do something else for yourself. But you are here watching me. So this night, I appeal to us as Igbo. There are two things that get me confused. Now, there is this saying that these things is not being done by Igbo. If it is true that this is not being done by Igbo, then we must expose who is destroying the Igbo nation. If not, this has gone past, euphoria of emotional euphoria. Now this is getting real. That you watching me, myself, could be the next person. I saw a woman. Yes, go and watch it at Injinjimi. Honestly, tears came out last night, and that's what manner of nonsense is this? A woman who is cooking obosisi in Imo State, has a petty restaurant. Okay. So people, I don't want to take, when I read some of the comments in the comment section, I can honestly see how unthinking some of us are. We cannot destroy the little. I speak to some of the Niger Delta leaders, some of the so-called militants, and some of their confessions to me gets me thinking. In private, they will tell him, as man, if not today, we'll not go do that thing. What would they do? We just destroy our own thing. We don't learn. They would have taken a different approach. Today, we want, if it's us doing it, we must stop. That is my message this evening. We cannot destroy ourselves to success. It doesn't work. We cannot destroy ourselves to success. We cannot. If it is not us, then we must collectively condemn it, because the Igbo nation, my pride, is going down, and is going down so fast. People who were in the Southeast 3 months ago, who knew I can drive, as of January, February, I can leave Oka 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night and drive to my hotel or drive to Enugu. Suddenly, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, everyone is very apprehension everywhere. Remember how one riffraff, Osisi Kanku, destroyed Aba between 2008 and 2011 or thereabout, 2008 and 2010. One riffraff. It took Aba so long to recover from it, because anyone that was in Aba ran away. Do we want the Southeast to be deserted? Do you know what the lifeline that is being supported by the nightlife in Owerri? Do I absolve our leaders? No, this was created by our leaders by their failures. By their failures. Let me quickly find this video. I think this video summarizes whatever argument I can put towards this evening. This video summarizes it aptly. And please, pardon me, I would quickly find this video by, I think, Lucubus. Hold on. Ooh, where is it? Sorry. So people, honestly, this is a burden. It hurts me. And like I was telling us before, this woman I was talking about in Owerri, you can see her son, 24 years old, according to her. It's on Ginger Media. Go watch it. Her son was taken away, and I can't imagine in the great Igbo nation, police are now shooting sporadically, taking people. Now they are only doing this on the guise that there is insecurity. Why must we give them excuses to kill us? Why? We cannot allow this to happen to us. Yesterday, a court was burnt down. The system does not work, but does not work optimally, but destroying the little we have tantamount to going to your kinsman meeting and you have an argument with someone in anger, you go home and destroy your house. Then I say to us, if it is not us, we must condemn it. If it is not us, we must condemn it. Again, we cannot all think that this is an easy thing. The consequences, if you want to save this video, the consequences, if it is not stopped and nipped in the bud now, will take us years to recover where we were only February 2021. Just February, 3 months ago. It will take us years to recover. Now, life, people, like I said before, no more life activities and all the rest. It's no longer happening. And there are people that were leaving, and now they can just come in and kill people on the pretext that, yeah, you people are making trouble. Anyone hoping that this international community, don't worry, when they start shooting, international community will come. That's not going to happen. I know how many times we've written the United Nations, at least I did. I'm not talking about people, myself I did. I know when still in England, the foreign minister in the United Kingdom, and the worst one is that what's it called? The foreign minister will say to you, no, is an internal issue that Britain does not get involved in internal conflict. Again, it's a burden in my heart. I would say the things that is in my mind, and it's left for us, as we say in Igbo, onye nwalonte yanolu, because it's getting out of hand. The amount of life we are losing. Today, CID Umahi was burned. We're talking about CID Umahi. Then tomorrow, another one is going to, we can't now. The whole place. No, now people are going on the bridgehead or whatever today was, blocked. Bridgehead was blocked. And you keep asking yourself, why would soldiers everywhere? Are we the only people? What's our crime? Thank God that eventually, when I reached out to find out why would soldiers block the bridgehead, I was made to understand that the only reason why they did that 5 soldiers were killed last night. 5 soldiers were killed. Therefore, maybe in their thinking, in their retaliation, that is the best thing they could do is to go close the bridge. And now, the Obosisi incident, and this is, if you're a mother, you're watching me, my advice would be, please, I would rather you shoot me than take my son away. Somehow, the woman went to radio station and that was broadcasted. I would rather that woman had, done everything that son wouldn't have taken away. We have in our security people the worst that you can ever think of. The worst that you can ever think of. However, in thinking, we must also ask ourselves, why is it that the same is not happening in the Southwest? What is it that the Southwest are doing that we can learn from? Well, no one knows it all. We didn't just land here. It took a little while for us to be here. Honestly, I'm trying to see if I can find that video. That's a Lucubros. You know, again, I blame the whole thing. I blame it on our local politicians. I blame it on them because there are things they could have done when the Yorubas was having their own Amotekun. They could have acted then. I said it here several times. It was a perfect timing for them to have done so, but they didn't. And they allowed things to get out of hand. And here we are. It is a sad reality. We cannot. The reality that is staring us in the face that many of us are not cognizant of is that if we do not take care, Southeast, my place of birth, the place that gives me joy, in our own very eyes, is turning into the northeast of Nigeria. Something I never imagined that would happen. It's with great pain. Honestly, it's with great pains. Till tomorrow, no matter what, I blame my politicians. I blame our politicians. The issue is still with politicians. On this note, I think I don't want to talk more on this. I would open the line. Let me take one or two calls while I am still looking for the video. But I think I don't know why his name is a little bit hard for me to call. But Lukushos or Lukubros basically made a very, very valid point in that submission that I watched it early this morning. Let me see if I can pull his, where is it? Let's see if I can pull up his submission. So if you want to have your contribution, I'm done with my presentations, which is one, as usual, that's a street parliament. It's not only made for me, but you can also have your say. Okay, you can also have your say. You know, there are some pictures, you know, some of these pictures, the videos, I can't even, you know, if I shared some of this video here, I bet you YouTube within a couple of minutes will just shut down this YouTube channel, because, you know, they say that such cannot be allowed to be aired. I know we are aggrieved, we are hurt. I feel, you know, I feel that pain. You know, actions has been taken, and part of the thing that actually, you know, led to this current madness is the today's president. You know, his answers also did not help. A man who, after winning an election, went to United States of America, he was being asked, simple question: how are you going to include others in your governance? How are you going to include others? And he opened his mouth, and the only thing he can say is that those that gave me 97% will not be, in all honesty, be expected to, you know, in all honesty, be expected to be treated the same way as those that gave him 5%. One, which is
last two questions, and
so which to me, this is the video here, which to me, listen, this is the as far as I can remember, with the current problem we have today, not only, you know, especially in the Southeast and the South, emanates from this video, because that is when this oracle here drew the line. That's when he drew the line and told you, you are not part of whatever I'm going to govern. And that's why I say, listen, in 2 years' time, he's no longer going to be there. He's not going to be, I mean, I don't even know how long he's going to leave. So, you know, let him go ahead, and if you and I have survived the last 6 years, if not, last 6 years we have survived, then we can, in honesty, survive the rest of the 18 months that is remaining. Look at a president here. Watch him.
Briefly, Dr. Pauline Baker.
Mr. President, welcome. And I've been a student of Nigeria for many years. And first of all, I want to tell you that I have never seen such a hopeful attitude toward Nigeria and the United States as since your election. So I think we're all here want you to succeed. My question relates to another area of Nigeria that hasn't gotten much attention during this trip, and that is the Niger Delta. It's a challenge that you're going to face. I wonder if you would tell us how you intend to approach it with particular reference to the amnesty, bunkering, and inclusive development. Thank you.
Now, I don't even know how to start with this level of mind. You were asked a simple question. How are you going to deal with inclusive governance, regards to amnesty, and regards to the Niger Delta? First of all, he does not appear to know what inclusive governance is. And this man would explain to him what was meant by inclusive governance. Watch. Listen. Simple question. You now ask inclusive government. You need to ask someone a question.
Inclusive government. How do you include?
Look, you can even hear, because the man has a lapel mic, how you may include those. Hi, come on.
I see. Yes. I hope you have a copy of the election results.
So what does inclusive government has to do with a copy of the election result? What has it got to do with that? It clearly shows a mindset of what I am thinking, because I'm thinking I hate Mazezoke. So irrespective of what Mazezoke is saying, you don't even want to listen to him. You're just going to start spewing your rubbish against him because you don't like him. That's exactly what is happening here. And he will start saying this.
Naturally, constituencies, for example, that gave me 97%.
Now, constituencies that gave him naturally 97%
cannot, in all honesty, be treated on some issues with constituencies that gave me 5%. I think these are political reality. While certainly there will be justice for everybody will get his constitutional right. But while the party in constituencies, by their either sheer hard work, they made sure that they got their people and to ensure their vote count. They must feel that the government has appreciated the effort they put in putting the government in place. I think that's really fair.
Now, the answer given here does not tally with the questions asked. Again, it shows a mindset of and a pattern of thinking. If you ask me, the question is, or rather the answer given, is nothing but a pattern that is still stuck in wartime. Let's put it that way. A pattern of thinking that is still stuck in wartime. Therefore, understanding this pattern psychologically, if I'm smart enough, what I will do is find means of avoiding frontal confrontation, but to use other means to approach it. With this mindset, he has a hammer. Everything that comes through his way would look like a 6-inch nail. The next thing is to do is to hammer. That is the mindset that I see here and what the video tells me. That's my analysis on this. And in conclusion, I think I've been able to find the video. Let me play us the video here of what I think the whole, the whole issue and also solution is. Download, where is it? So,
during an election, except of course, you'll be Supreme Court governor and no call anybody name. It is easy to point accusing fingers at others but ourselves. But believe me, we all contributed to the rot called Nigeria. Nobody destroyed Nigeria but you and I. The day it benefits you and your person, then now God do. Otherwise, it's not good enough. If it must be better, we must use the same standard and measures we use for others for ourselves. Otherwise, this house will fall on us all, including those cutting down the legs now through banditry, kidnapping, ransom, killing, burning of police stations, etc. I hope we...
Now look at it. When these things, when things like this, things that we were isolated with, going about, listen, this struggle is not 500 meters. It's not, oh, we started to the end of the year. No, a struggle is a marathon. Strategy changes. But at least in the eyes of the world, we should be purer than pure. But look, in these cases now, you talk about burning of police stations. Everybody thinks, oh, Southeast. No, we are not. We are not.
You understand, and should let our people know also that it is the Igbo politician in collaboration with some of their traditional institutions in that region that underdevelop and are still destroying Igbo land when they put money made for public funds in their pockets. The average Yoruba man should be aware that it's the Yoruba politicians and their allies whom they celebrate every day that have consistently made life unbearable for Yorubas in their land despite the abundance. The Hausas, Fulanis, the Kanuris, the Jukums, the Beram, Tiv, Idoma, Igede, Igala, Igbira people, etc. should understand that it's not the man from Anegbete or Rerope, but their governors and representatives whom they either voted for or abstained from voting for that have consistently made development a mirage for them, even with their numbers and natural resources. I hope the Ijaws, the Robos, Calabarese, Benis, Ishan, Afema, Ika, Ikwere, and others in South can see clearly that it is nobody but their politicians and leaders, both religious and traditional, that are eating what's meant for everybody in the midst of plenty. So blame them and not others. Those destroying and burning down pipelines in South, our brothers and sisters, hope they know that those destructions is a further destruction of our environments.
Exactly. And that's one thing the South, when I speak to some of their leaders within the creeks, they've come to the realization that they were actually hurting themselves. Because the environmental degradation, you could be angry with Castina, you could be angry with Sokoto, but in your house, Sokoto will still be there in Sokoto doing whatever he or she is doing. But who is going to drink the polluted water? Who's going to drink? Whose fish is going to die? Is it his fish? No, it's yours. Agitation, yes. But the destruction of your own property doesn't, for me, smack of intelligence, doesn't.
The ones that claim to be unknown and setting ablaze police stations in the Southeast are our relatives. What do we tell them?
Bless you, my brother. But again, only point of correction is that we do not because we hear different figures. The governor of Imo State comes up saying it's not been done by our brothers, that he knows who they are, yet he still does not prove who they are. So, but again, sorry again. So this evening, my stand is, irrespective of who is behind it, who is doing it, we must stop, else we have nowhere to call home. Else we will join the group of people that will come to National Assembly and shout, oh, I can no longer go to my constituency. Else we no longer can. Some of us are shouting Enugu International Airport, I want to fly into Enugu. Else you can no longer even fly into. You can't go anywhere because who? Then hunger is going to start killing people, and people will run away from the Southeast the more. I know many of you will know geometrics. This is a private conversation, but let me use it to illustrate my point. It's been on the works for so many years, but it gets to a point that some of the foreign partners or lenders were supposed to come and inspect, but they could not be, their safety could not be guaranteed in Aba, and eventually they didn't come. They left. That project last week in Omaya, an expatriate was killed, the security orderly killed, foreign direct investment. If you're a bricklayer, someone is in London, is in England, is in what's it called, Asia, he's building a house. If the insecurity is not stopped now, you will soon get out of job, because many of you in the diaspora watching would begin to understand that there comes a time, as long as psychologically no longer feel safe that this region is worthy of your dollar and pounds investment, you withdraw. What indirectly happens is those of your brothers and sisters that do these works will start, they will no longer have any work. And if they no longer have work, the solutions will get more complicated. What will then happen is either they begin to if that is either they start talking about migrating away from that particular place or something else. But let me allow my brother to, oh wow. Obinna, Ifanacho, thank you very much for the super. I thought everybody, I'm surprised, Obinna, thank you very much. I thought everybody was angry this evening because I'm taking a topic that probably would not sit well with so many people. But again, your super chat or super sticker actually says maybe I'm not talking entirely, I'm not being stupid entirely, but thank you. It gives me courage. So I'll take some comment. Sorry, those calling me now, can you quickly wait? Let me finish this video, then
destroying and burning down pipelines in South, our brothers and sisters. Hope they know that those destructions is a further destruction of our environments.
Yes.
The ones that claim to be unknown and setting ablaze police stations in the Southeast, our relatives. What do we tell them? Others kidnapping villagers and innocent school children, killing in the name of religion, and setting villages on fire in the north, lives amongst us as relatives. Apart from asking for amnesty and ransom for them, have we ever bothered to ask them to stop? And when they are arrested, do we insist that they be punished for their crimes? I leave you to be the answer to answer that question. That traditional ruler dishing out chieftaincy title to undeserving people because of money will look for who to blame but himself. The pastor and priest who sees Sunday sermons as opportunities to further fleece his gullible congregants is also blaming somebody somewhere for the rot that he represents. God loves a cheerful giver after all. Yet they buy private jets in the midst of hunger. The Islamic cleric who is negotiating with bandits and terrorists and those who are silent in the face of the killing simply because the killer shares a faith with them is also a problem and not a solution. Make him also look himself in the mirror and change. Those lawmakers who sees every budget passage as opportunity to pad and make money are our parents, relatives, and village people. What do we tell them when we meet with them in private? Do we say, give me my share, or bros, sis, represent the people well? I leave you to your conscience. You parents that refuse to imbibe morals in your kids, those young boys destroying rail tracks, students cheating in exam hall, you contractor who over-invoice price, and yet do a shoddy job. And those of you that destroy public properties, claiming there's a protest. You trader that increase price unreasonably because there are no checks. You landlord increasing your rent arbitrarily. You security personnel, police, army, navy, air force, and even private security outfit, killing defenseless people and not behaving contrary to your oath of office. You lawyer defending political thief even when you know the truth. And the judge collecting money to pervert justice. The medical doctor selling public drugs in his private hospital. The civil servant who is nothing but evil servant. You pickpocket using civil society and NGO to enrich your personal pocket and all defending, defrauding, or suspending people of their money and valuable. The list is endless. Just add your own. Are all parts of the larger problem of Nigeria. We are all not different from the people governing us, as our leaders and rulers are drawn from amongst us. And that's why it is said that those waiting to steal in government are more than those already stealing. I will therefore advocate that we all must see that our actions or inaction is what is collectively destroying this country and not just that of the politicians. We do not need a sovereign national conference or dialogue to heal the land and tell ourselves the truth. What we need is a personal dialogue with ourselves, our conscience, and our maker. We can then elevate the discussion to local government, state level, and before we get to the national level, we would have all become the change ambassador that we so desire through our individual reorientation in our interaction with our people every day.
Thank you very much, my good brother, for making that excellent point. Then I will now take some of the caller. I have a caller waiting on the line. I would beg us, because it appears many of you want to call in, please go straight to your point. If it's a question, make your point quickly, so that don't hog the telephone line for others, because I've already spent an hour, 30 minutes plus, so that we do not make these much more longer. Thank you very much. I have my first caller from the United Kingdom. Caller, what's your name and what's your contribution?
Okay, good evening, sir.
Yeah,
good morning from here.
Okay.
My name is Mazi Chukwemeke SH Mad.
Okay, my brother, good evening.
Thank you so much, my brother. Well done for what you're doing. I thank you so much for your analysis. I've been following you for quite some time now. There are a couple of things you said tonight, that I will disagree with you a bit, because
that's fine.
Like you said,
that's fine. I don't know it all, but before I say some of these things, I really do a lot of thinking and back channel conversations before. I know it's not conventional, and I know a lot of people wouldn't agree with me, but hey, I owe this, everything I've said this evening, I mean it 1,000,000%, and I owe it to my conscience, because if I go to bed tonight and not wake up, and I will know that I've done the people that I love most, the Igbo nation, that I've given them my own peace of mind. Well, go ahead and disagree with me, as long as we keep it civil. Go ahead.
Yeah, we'll keep it civil. There's what are we fighting ourselves because of a problem people created for us? It's only when we don't understand, who we are and what exactly from the experience we had during the Biafran War. During that Biafran War, I also have the scars of that war on me, talking to you from London.
All of us too. All of us.
Okay, and over those years, there is a question you asked this night. You don't really know, because you said the Southeast, they should borrow a leaf from Southwest. They are agitating and nobody is killing them. There is no Nigerian, army or police going there to kill them because they are not burning down police stations and whatever. And then in the Southeast is a bit, turning like the North insecurity because of burning of police station and the Nigerian government, infrastructures. On your program, I wrote some comment there. The comment I said, when the IPOB members were doing ordinary, agitation, in also one, Nigerian army and police killed our people. In Aba, they killed our people. In also one, they killed our people. In our leader's house, Mazen Namdekano, in his house in Afaru, he was waiting to attend court. They brought Operation Python as 1 or 2 or whatever, slaughtered almost 28 people in his father's compound, and he escaped. During this time, all these things, they were slaughtering our people. The question I asked on your program, was there any police station being burnt by these IPOB members or unknown gunmen then before they slaughtered them? And the answer to all of us, whether anybody accepts it or not, is that no, there were no unknown gunmen.
Okay, hold on. You've asked your question. You've asked your question, and I'll respond to you quickly. So, do you think that the time that these things were happening, that the Igbo nation kept quiet?
Yes, they kept quiet.
No. Sorry, they didn't. Because when I say, okay, go ahead.
Can I say something? Mind you, it's the same Igbo nation of the Ohanes and Igbo, the same Igbo nation of all the Southeast governors sat down and proscribed their own blood, their own brothers and sisters as what? Terrorists. They attacked me and you. You might not be a member of IPOB. IPOB is indigenous people of Biafra. They attacked their own terrorists when they have never, not for once, attacked any police, burnt any police station, never harassed anybody. They were just waving flag, asking for what? Freedom of
for your information, I am IPON actually, indigenous people of Ndibo. But that does no. Igbo is older than Biafra. And Igbo is original. It's not Biafra is Portuguese. The point that I'm making here, and I take your point, but where I would disagree with you again is that the Igbo nation kept quiet while these things were happening. That's not correct. That was the time that the middle class, I remember I was in Portugal the day Nnamdi Kanu's house was invaded in Afaru. I tell you, my telephone, I was in a meeting. Sadly, I was presenting, kind of come out from the meeting to go to the loo, and I checked my phone. I had about 120 missed calls. Unprecedented. Now, the who is who in Igbo nation, everybody felt violated, myself included, that day. Now, immediately, led by attorney who was, some of you might know, De Samamadi from Imo State, and that invasion was challenged within court again, and equally, eventually, actions started. So when some of us say that Igbo Nation kept quiet, I do not, subscribe to that, because did we keep quiet? Go to igboekunye.org/press release. You see, personally, me, I can speak for myself and other organizations that I know the things they were doing. People were speaking up. The same thing the Yorubas are doing today. People were speaking up. When the IPOB marched up Niger Bridge and closed the bridge, in the same vein that I criticized the federal government, I said there was no need to close. We must be an orderly people, because where your right stops, mine starts. And where mine starts, yours stops. So if we're an orderly people, what I had expected was to, with the help of the police, because even then we started writing the police to say, when people come out to protest, be it in Aba, remember when Nnamdi Kanu was going everywhere in this Igbo nation, to Ebonyi, you see the crowd. Yet, ask yourself, no one at that point was, after he came out of prison, was being killed. You think that just happened out of nowhere, right? Question is, if injustice was done by certain people, by the structure itself. So what, if I take your argument this night, what you're trying to say is that you want to accept that, you are the one doing the carnage happening in Igbo nation as a result of what was done to you before. Is that what you're putting across? Again, we have to be very careful. I repeat again. Okay. No one destroys his own house. You cannot set your house on fire because you've gone to your Umunna meeting and you argued with someone, you disagreed with someone, and you come back home and in anger you burn your house. What I'm saying is, I would never, and on my honor, I would never support anything that gives injustice to my people. However, there are many ways we can approach this. That is not, if, again, I keep using this caveat. If I do not know the people behind it, but all I'm saying is that we know ourselves. If by any virtue of, by any contraction, we know the people, that we can say, no, this is going to hurt us on a long run. No matter how you look at it, my brother, it's going to hurt us on a long run. That we must, if it is us, we must step it down. If it is not us, we must find a way to step it down. Thank you very much. Let me take other calls from other people.
Can I
just
okay.
Yes, please. Go. Be brief on it because other people are on the line, please.
I also asked, what is the use of Nigerian police and Nigerian army? Of what benefit are they?
My brother, the benefit.
Nigerians. I'm not saying Biafrans or Igbos. I say to Nigerians. What are the use of police and army?
You see,
to Nigerians.
Well,
what use are they to them?
While you and I might see that the police have
the line is very noisy.
I don't know. While you and I might agree that the policing system has failed, I've argued either regional or state police, right? Because I want the police that would be in charge of my area. The commissioner of police of Imo State, in my estimation, must come from Imo and must live amongst the people. Now, even when the police is not working as optimally as we ought, as we must wish that they do, one thing is very clear. In the jaga-jaga-ness of Nigerian police not working, it is still better than the current course where your life is in danger. I'll give you a final example before I let you go. If you stop today, a policeman stops you today, abuses your right, and you're able to memorize the number, it might take time, but you will get justice. Now, when you hold on, my brother, forget. Listen. Let's not reduce the conversation. Lumping everything. In as much. It's
not lumping.
No, hold on.
The reality.
No,
my brother. Let's
listen.
Lekki,
So
people
listen.
were killed in Lekki. Have the people gotten justice? No. The answer is no.
People were.
So. People we are massacred all over the whole nation. There are IDP people.
So okay, hold on. So people were killed. No, people were killed in Lekki. People were killed. If you don't listen, I will stop you, please. If you're not listening, I will stop you. So people were killed in Lekki, and your solution is that you now go and burn every police station in Lagos. Is that what you mean?
That is not what I mean. We are just discussing.
Exactly. So what we are saying, you are not. No. Listen. What I said.
In the long run.
I said in the long run. Not even in America today. You see that when even the American police shoot people off camera. Most cases, they can, if we've seen on videos where they implant maybe marijuana or other things, there is injustice. One thing you have to know, my brother, there is injustice in police forces globally. Now, coming to, hold on.
I've lived in UK for 20 years, brother. Nothing like injustice all over the world.
Anyway, thank you very much. Let me take another caller. Thank you very much for your time. So, who am I speaking to? Can we make it very quick, please?
Hello.
I'm listening to you, please. Who am I speaking to?
Yeah, good evening. How are you? I'm calling from Canada.
Yeah, well done. Good evening.
Are you still on the line? Are you still on the program?
Yes, go ahead. I'm listening to you.
No, I just wanted to contribute on this thing.
Please make it very quick. Other people are waiting. Make it quick. Thank you.
No,
what's your name?
Nobody likes what is happening as we are all, but it's just that all these things has been happening and nothing has been said all along. And all of a sudden, everybody is jumping on the bandwagon to condemn, the killing of these people. But millions have been killed before. And there has not been any comment from any quarter.
No, again, I beg to disagree. See, when we have to be very careful. There are people sticking out their life, right? I know if you know Emeko Mabarasi of Inter-Society, I know the things he do. He is in Onitsha. So I know the things he does, and he's in Onitsha. I know some of the things I have done together with him, and I know other people doing a lot. Now, when we come online and say, "Oh, things happen," nobody says anything. We can honestly, you're not encouraging in any way those who put their own resources fighting for those who are not related to them. No one is supporting the injustice.
I'm talking about people responsible for this. That are responsible for the people. The people who are voted in Igbo land to mind these things.
Exactly. Exactly. Then we channel.
To come and bomb a certain part of the country.
Then we channel.
Have you had that in Yoruba land or in Hausa land before?
You're coming back to my point. Then we channel the anger. That's what I'm saying. This anger, if we have, that's the reason why I played the video I played before, where he's clearly saying that these, if anything is happening in the Niger Delta, these are people responsible, right? So then we begin to, again, the same people. I'll tell you, there was a governor of a state whom The EFCC said he stole about 7.6 billion money meant for his own state. This money was not stolen by Fulanese or by Hausas in his own state. He stole it to his Igbo, money meant for the Igbo. Yet, rather than his people to punish him, they reward him with a senatorial seat. Rather than his people to frown on the nonsense he has done with their own money that he has stolen.
Election. So we know what is happening in Nigeria, but that's not the point right now. The point is, how do we salvage the situation in Igbo land about the insecurity going on?
Okay, the way
when we come to that that bridge, you cross it about all these corrupt politicians. Everybody knows what is going on. Let's not pretend like we don't know what is going on in Igbo land. The people that are ruling are not supposed to be ruling.
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much. You're right.
That's why there's a chaos. There's no progress.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Somebody tie a road to their village. Everybody start clapping for them like if they have done something good.
Correct. So let me take another caller. Thank you very much for your contribution. Thank you. So the caller, I think your internet is really... Yeah, hello. Who am I speaking to? Good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Who am I speaking to? Where are you calling from?
Emmanuel from Texas.
Would you kindly speak up, please?
Emmanuel from Texas.
Okay. Good evening, Emmanuel.
So, I was watching your broadcast and...
You are live, right? Make sure you're live. So, yes. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So, I heard you say, and we all agree, that this problem, majority of it was caused by the Southeast leaders not taking action when they were supposed to take action.
True. That's what I believe in. That's what tomorrow morning I still believe so.
That's what it is. So, and the things they have not done, we cannot go back to them. So my question is, from today onwards, is it that the Southeast leaders are helpless? Is it that they don't have a back channel of negotiation or something? Are they just going to sit down and this thing will keep happening?
Oh, I can tell you that the Southeast governors, without speaking for them, but what I can perceive is that they are doing all they can. But again, the challenge is that the horse has bolted. You know, the bull has left the pen. But be that as it may, reason why I made this as part of my broadcast is, you know, they say a man who went to Catholic church and they do sign of the cross, he does that in front and he does that at the back. And the priest asks, why do you do front and back? He says, the Lord says he's going to come like a thief. He doesn't know if he's going to come from the back or from the front. Meaning that we must engage in all channels, both elected and unelected, that we must put our heads together to find a solution. Okay, that's why I'm discussing it today, that, you know, we might begin to have a rethink. And like you rightly pointed out, we do not only need now to begin to blame one another. Mistakes has been made. You know, there are grave mistakes that were made, but be that as it may, we must find and begin to look for solution before it gets too damaging. If you look at the destruction today, some of this video, people naked, you know, on the streets with AKs shooting, you know, come on. Nobody, especially most of you in the diaspora, nobody, you cannot tell me the way the things are happening today, you cannot take your kids down to an Igbo. You cannot. Nobody will be happy. So what it means is that, you know, the back channel, front channel, side channel, everything must be activated to make sure that this thing stops. That is my point.
I hope the South leaders are activating these channels.
Honestly,
Today I just read that Omar said that if you don't open your shop on Monday, you're going to forfeit your shop. Those kind of broadcasts does not help the matters, honestly. And I will suggest that somebody like Abariben could make probably a press release. A lot of people seem to respect him. I'm not saying that the Igbos are the one burning the stations or whatever. For somebody of his caliber, he could make it be whatever. If it's a public plea, whoever is doing this thing on my honor, please come to me and let us talk. That could come
again. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's a good suggestion you're making, because one thing we have to know again, everyone is hurting. Nigeria is not working. Nigeria is not helping anyone. So, but again, let us not also make it as if we are the only people that is hurting in Nigeria. When you speak to the people of Middle Belt, wallahi, what is happening in the Middle Belt it's mind blowing. You know, because they have fertile land, they have vast land. And oh, Jesus Christ, honestly, it's unbelievable. But anyway, thank you very much for your call. Let me take another person. Thank you very much for your call.
It's okay, thank you.
Yeah, hello. Hello. Please, if you're calling me, make sure you put off the system you're listening with. It's not right when you call and I'm going to be listening to myself echoing at the background. So who is on the line, please?
My name is Rufus. I sent you, I'm the one that sent you the video of the ranching place.
Oh, okay. Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah. So, like you rightfully said in the beginning, these problems, all these problems were caused by, our so-called Southeast governors, let's say from 1999 to date. What do you expect when somebody you will be elected in the office? Both the governors, the people in the house and all that, they will be sharing the money, stomach infrastructure within them, looting, and keeping the masses, poor. What do you expect? The highest thing they do is to buy, let's say, a keke na pepe and give a young man growing up. And before you know what's happening, the person doesn't know the left or right. So this whole thing, we need to, I think after this whole thing, we need to, start, electing the right. After this whole thing, we need to start electing the right people. And when they mess up, we do all that we can. You understand where I'm coming from? To make sure they go in for it and answer for it, because a governor can't be elected and loot the whole.
Let me stop you and ask you a rhetorical question. Maybe the question could be considered also as playing the devil's advocate. How can you elect those that you want without participating in the election?
Now, that one, we have to participate in every election. But first of all, before we do that, we need to get our electoral reform, whereby once after voting, the whole thing is announced right there. And not going to Abuja.
You actually come back to what I said at the beginning, that the Constitution is not fit for purpose, because this is the content of the Constitution, that once we are able to bring down this Constitution and have a people's constitution that they must agree on via referendum, then probably we will start getting somewhere. Thank you very much, my brother, for ringing. I think many of you now will be from America, because it is now after 1 o'clock here in Nigeria. Thank you very much for your time, sir. Okay. So I think who's okay. I think I had a missed call. Can you call back again if you're still there? +356. Okay, I will take maybe two. Okay, this is another one. Yeah, hello. Who am I speaking to?
Hello. Yes, I would like to participate in the discussion.
Yeah, you're live on. Who am I speaking? Where am I speaking to? Who am I speaking to? And where are you calling from?
My name is Eric Udogo. I'm calling from Maryland, United States.
Mm-hmm.
I've been making an attempt to reach you guys, and I would like to make some contribution.
Go ahead and make
like
it.
This forum a lot, and I enjoy the discussion. And I think Mazi has good intelligence in the whole issue, and I would like to participate. I'm watching the chat.
You're live on X, so go ahead and make your contribution.
Okay. I've been listening to the whole thing, the whole discussion. Incidentally, some people don't understand that the time has passed when we have to think that we can get whatever thing we want through the barrel of the gun. This is a time where we have to use our intelligence and prevent the utilization of
You see the simple reason. You see the simple reason I said when you ring in, turn down the volume of any device you're using to listen to me. That's why you're just waiting, listening to yourself.
Okay, I'm sorry about it. I was using another phone altogether to call in. I'm sorry about it. You see, what I'm trying to say is that the time has passed when we keep thinking that we can get what we want through the barrel of the gun. It is pure intelligence we have to apply at this time. We don't have to play into these people's hands. Attacking the police or the military is simply giving them a license and find suitable ground to come and invade and kill as many people as they want. This is not the solution. The solution to the whole thing is simply do the same thing the Yorubas are doing. What is happening in our territory is not happening in the Yoruba land. This is a common sense.
Yeah,
we know they want all of us to die.
But someone
we know that already, but what sense does it make to keep doing for them what they want us to do in order to find an excuse to exterminate our people? That is not right. That is simply not right. And anybody that thinks that we shall get this thing through that way is really not being smart and thinking twice. I was in the secondary school during the war. I saw the whole thing. I know we are in a relationship that doesn't work for us. Everybody knows that. But how do we solve the problem? We cannot solve the problem by giving to them what they want us to do in order to have good reason to kill us. No, that is not right. Whoever that can reach Nnamdi Kanu should advise him to tone down, find another means of communication other than saying everything and then they were using it. How can we approach United Nations? I'm 15 miles from the White House. I have a few people I talk with, but how can you convince somebody that you are not doing what the Nigerian government claims we are doing? We cannot get what we want by burning police stations. No, that's not the right. Let us follow this thing if we have success in mind. We cannot achieve that. We don't scare people that want to help us.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much for your time. And 2 o'clock Nigerian time, and I think ETC time tomorrow. 2 o'clock Nigerian time tomorrow. Join on this platform. We will have Biafra Remembrance Day. We will have prominent Igbo leaders joining, and I will be anchoring that with Dele Momodu. So, and these some of these leaders again will be here on this platform. Make a date with us tomorrow here. That's going to be a very brilliant conversation. But again, you cannot beat a child and ask the child not to. the least we can do for ourselves is that we lost people, millions of them, and we are still grieving 50-something years later. Then we have a date. And take, for instance, and that is why sometimes I say I'm angry with the Igbo leaders or the governors. What, part of the reason and the anger is this. What does it cost the Southeast governors to declare on their own 30th of May every year a public holiday, at least in the Southeast region where they control? What does it cost them? Have you seen how in the last 4 years, how things have actually deteriorated? In 2017, when Buhari was ill, Professor Yemi Osibanjo, the Vice President of Nigeria, actually with Olusegun Obasanjo, attended Biafran Memorial Day in 2007. But here in 2017, here 2021.
I don't want to stop. I don't want to interrupt you, but let me tell you what I did today. I have a few phone numbers. I have a few old classmates of mine that are in the Congress. I sent the ugly pictures and videos I received today about killings in Owerri, even near my house in Owerri.
I'm telling you,
I sent it to all of them.
The Owerri is that is the one that is killing me. Owerri is it's piercing.
And I was on the phone for 15 minutes with one of them. I was asking him, "What are you doing there to Abuja?" And he told me he's in the opposition. I said, "Meaning what? Is that Barebe not in the opposition?"
Anyway,
why can't we hear your voice?
My dear, thank you.
Why can't all of you get together and go to Hope Uzodinma? Hope Uzodinma's house from my, in the village from my house is less than 5 miles. I know him in person. So why can't you people
one thing that anyone watching me now, one thing we must all do, you've done it, but I would say, if you know your reps, we must demand that the moment they resume, I don't know if it's next week or so, because they're all gone to do these their constitutional amendment nonsense, that the moment they resume, that they need to, all we ask of them, we pay them humongous amounts of money to go and speak on our behalf. If I tell you that many of them, if any of them that are right, I want to discuss these on this platform, none of them comes. They are suddenly, all of them are busy. But again, we must, even when our leaders have deserted us, we cannot desert ourselves. I maintain we cannot burn down our houses to success. Thank you very much for joining me this evening. Thank you. So people, again, I think we need to begin to, if election would ever hold, people, I'm telling us, we need to begin to look at men with balls who can actually begin to do some of these things. Why can't we have a Southeast-wide legislation to declare the 30th of May? Why can't we have it as a public holiday? The Yorubas, even when the government, before Buhari's government did, the Yorubas declared on that same day, the Southwest, they want to have this date. So we have it as a date. It doesn't move. It doesn't move to 29th. It doesn't move to 31st. It is on the 30th. It becomes your day. One day to honor those who gave their yesterday for your tomorrow. I will be rounding up soon, so I have the next caller here. Who am I speaking to and where are you calling from?
Yeah, my name is Godwin. I'm calling from Germany.
So Godwin,
I really want to commend you for the good work you're doing. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think our major problem is our governors and our political leaders. I don't think these people are working in unison because they seem to be way behind time. Okay, like you made mention of the Southwesterners forming Ametoko, and they will get that was the opportunity. They will have used it to introduce their own outfits, and they failed. Okay, now and again,
you've made mention of why can they, bring out a date like 30th, okay, as the Biafra Remembrance Day. They will not do anything on it until they seem to be waiting until things get bad before they will make a step. So I think they are confused. They are not working the way they should. So they are major problem. And until we start facing these people, our political leaders, including those in the National House of Assembly, until we start tackling them, going after them, we'll never get it right. Election is coming. Okay, how are we even sure that when we vote the right people, that these votes will count? That they will allow
No. The vote will. You know why? I keep asking this question. People say Senator Nyina Baribe speaks for them. And I ask, how does Baribe win election? If you say the votes is not counting, well, how come his own votes are counting? If you say, because at the end of the day, you do not expect a senator, House of Rep, to go carry gun on your behalf and do this. All you want them to do is to open up their God-given mouth and speak the way I'm speaking here now, to say that this is what is happening to my people, that I frown at it. When Abba happened, when I went to court on the Operation Python Dance Day, it's because, I've issued press release, I've called press conference, and at some point I had to go head to court. Now, bearing in mind that eventually probably nothing will come out of it, but at least one will say that,
make an effort.
You cannot just keep quiet and just fold your arms. And that's what we are talking about. So people are doing something, but at the same time, we should not give room for people to say, well, you started it, because which appears to be what is happening now.
Exactly.
That we are giving room for that. You begin to lose empathy and sympathy, because part of these things is that the world sympathy must remain on. Part of the reasons why you saw nations that supported, even when Biafra happened in 1967, was that, they tried everything, and at some point said, okay, if that is the case, that you don't want us in this union, we're going to draw a line here. We will want to be here to defend ourselves. They didn't go on the offensive. So you can say that it was a just and a moral war. But when you begin to now, probably again, I don't know who is behind it, I'm just appealing. I do not care who is behind it, but I am appealing to all of us, in case, that we can have a rethink. Anyway, again, we cannot blame our leaders enough. It is their failure. That is why we have what is currently happening. They have failed us. But do we now have we totally lost hope? Even if when we have the, the Republic of Igbo Nation, for instance, you cannot be governed by angels. You still have those that you still disliked, those that didn't do it right. But as a test run, we must demand for something, that we can no longer continue in this trajectory. Thank you very much for joining me this evening.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So people, on that note, I will thank you all for joining me. It is now getting to 1:30 a.m. and I think it's a very fine place to leave that conversation. My word to us remains: we cannot destroy our properties, destroy our region to success. We, Igbo, are builders. We are not destroyers. We know people who are destroyers. That is not us. We are a people that come into a community where there is no life. We create life. We are a people that come into a community where there is no water. Will find water. We are a people that come into a community that is only swamp. We devise means to fill the swamp with our local technology and intelligence, and we build upon them to the marvel of the world. I was once in Lagos, a place called towards Okota, I can't remember the name again, Amuodofin, and I looked at the wonders my brothers and sisters have done, and I said to myself, these people that have done this can only be Genesis. I go towards Ajau Estate and see how they are filling and building up places. A people that devote their time and energy to build cannot be a people that destroy. One thing we don't know, if we do, I will remind us again, is 90% of the destructions that is happening are built by our own sweat, not even by federal government. When you destroy a court, most of those courts are built by us with our own money. You know, when you see an electric pole in the great Igbo nation, assuming you destroy an electric pole, chances are 95% of the time that single electric pole is bought with our local money. Anywhere you see NIPOST, which is the Nigerian Postal Authority or whatever it's called, you see a post office, chances are that post office was built by the locals. Most of the primary schools, secondary schools you see in the Great Igbo nation are built by us. Ones that I know that I'm part of. Imagine you go to any secondary school, you go to the one in my community, you set it ablaze, for instance, and the computers in there are burnt. Those computers there, I bought them with my money for children who are not my children, who are not my relative. But because I think they deserve brighter future like my children as well. Because when we take care of the downtrodden of the society, you reduce the risk of them being a threat to you. The reason why we saw what happened in the south, in the northeast, is as a result of neglect over decades. When men sleep with women unprotected for their own pleasure, and kids are brought to this earth without any plans of how you want to take care of them, because there is no plan, because you give birth to these children uncontrolled and at will. You send them to what you call their Majiri school to go learn Quran and to go have their brains brainwashed. Once these things happen, they get to a certain age, they've nothing in the society. And once a people do not have anything that they can fall back in any society, destruction becomes easy for them, because obviously nothing, they owe nothing. Have you ever wondered that in a society where people have houses through mortgages, you hardly see them riot? Because no one with senses intact want to see his own houses burnt. Have you ever wondered that when you see riots, especially like in Paris or in England or in America, you see riots happening not where you have residential detached or semi-detached houses. You see riots happening where you have skyscrapers, where people probably are living on the state. They have nothing to fall back on. So they don't care if everything is destroyed. Well, it is the state, not them. Why is it that those who own properties are not a destructive people? And that's where I classify my people. Because we are builders from Lagos to Abuja, Anywhere in the Southeast, go to Oka, Udokai State, you see marvelous edifices my people are building from their sweat. Go to our villages. During the 1967 to 1970 war, we were told that leaves were used to cover the zinc, that the military can no longer see them. The time has gone. When, if anything happens now, imagine the house your father built in the village, or the house you watching me now built in the village. With which palm front would you cover them so that the military jets will not see them? There are people who are not happy when they come to the Southeast and see what a people who they thought that they've defeated in war was able to do with mere 20 pounds. 20 pounds for those who have account at all. 20 pounds. You've been able to build back your place and you've taken the front seat. Yes, you and I are aggrieved. Is this the best that this nation can give us? Of course not. But does that warrant me burning my own house? Because no, I would never. I would never. And I will not support it, because Maz is okay. I am a builder, not a destroyer. On that note, I will say thank you very much for joining me on this late night conversation, Street Parliament. Join me 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Share this video, like this video, and if you may, subscribe to this channel if you haven't. Have a date with me tomorrow as Igbo leaders, driven by World Igbo Congress, will be converging, and it will be streamed live on this platform. Thank you very much for listening, and have a wonderful night rest. I love you all. You know it. I am Onyebo before any other thing. If I die tomorrow, the only prayer I have is that I want to come back in the next life. I want to be Onyebo once more. No apology. That's who I am. Thank you very much for listening. Good night.